You guys know that my pull lists are normally pretty big, upwards of 20 plus books. But this week I almost passed 30. A few books got moved to next week's new comic book day for some delay for some reason. So my list is just under 30 books, 29 books on the nose. 29 total books that I'm pulling this week, which is absolutely, what was I thinking? But I read a ton of amazing comic books and I'm excited to tell you guys about each and every single one of them in today's video. What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back, yes, to the biggest ever Wednesday pull list, which is your hype video for new comic book day. I'm gonna try to get you pumped and excited to at least consider some of the books that are on my pull list, because I know a lot of people do not pull 29 books. That is just, it is A, so much money, B, so much reading, and it can get really daunting when you have to read. I had to read 28 books this weekend, 28, and I did read the previous issues to all the books that are on my pull list this week. 28. I started on Tuesday of last week just so I can get through all the books, but it was a ton of fun. I read so many good comic books, but guys, there's some amazing covers coming out this week, so that will add to my pull list because I'm picking up some covers just for the cover art alone. So it's gonna be a doozy. So I don't want to waste any more time. I don't want to do any more fluff. I shouldn't have to. You guys know this is a big week because I've seen some people posting their pull list in the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. And everyone's week seems to be a little larger than normal. So guys, strap in. This is gonna be such an awesome video. But guys, first off, we gotta check out my pull list. Now, I've already told you how many books are on my pull list this week. There's a total of 29. It stretches from one side all to the other and starts a third row. Now, initially I had 32 books on my pull list, but 3 books get moved to next week's, which made my reading list a little bit smaller this week. But guys, you guys cannot see what those books are, so let me go ahead and throw them up on screen right now. Now, like I mentioned, there's a total of 29 books on my pull list, and if you look at every single book that's on LeagueComicGeeks.com, there are 111 books total that a comic book shop can pick up and present to you guys to purchase. So that means I am picking up almost 1/3 of the books that are coming out this week, which is just an insane number. But guys, if we break down this list a little bit more, there is one new number one. There are 7 DC books, 8 Marvel comics, and 14 independent titles that I'm picking up this week. And like I said just a minute ago, I've read all the previous issues to the books that you see on screen right now, so every single one of these books could make the top 3 list. But there's only 3 spots, and I had such a hard time figuring out the number 3. The number 2 and number 1 were like easy peasy, nice and easy. But that third book, it took a while to whittle it down. But guys, let's not waste any more time because there's so many more books to go through. There's no books on the chopping block. That's right, not a single one, because all the books I read this weekend were pretty good. So let's go ahead and move over to the next section, which is my cover lever picks. Alright guys, just in case you guys are new to the channel, my cover lever picks are just covers that I absolutely love the artwork for, and these are books that I would pick up based on the cover art alone. So let's go ahead and dive into these amazing covers. And the first book up is Ultimate X-Men issue number 4 with the Ultimate Special variant done by Megan Hetrick. And this cover is just so freaking cool, and it has one of the new characters that Peach Momoko introduced, and it's just a really cool cover. Now next up is The Avengers issue number 15 with the Big Marvel's variant done by Scotty Young. Yes, there is a 1 in 50 sketch variant of this, but I just love this version right here. Black Panther looks like a little kitty cat, and it's so freaking adorable. And after that is Green Lantern issue number 12 with the cover B variant done by Evan Doc Shaner. This cover is absolutely fantastic. You got Hal Jordan as a kid wearing like the goggles and the hat, then you got Hal Jordan flying in his jet plane, and then you got Hal Jordan as Green Lantern. Just a fantastic cover. And after that is Blood Hunt issue number 3 with the 1 in 10 and 1 in 100 ratio variant done by Gabriel Del Otto. Now the 1 in 100 is the Virgin and the 1 in 10 has a trade dress on it. I'm collecting all the 1 in 10s. I think this is just absolutely gorgeous covers done by Gabriel Del Otto. What is not to like? And I like that he does these connecting cover sets. You can collect them all and just like make this beautiful piece of artwork. So freaking cool. After that is Deadpool issue number 3 with the 8-bit variant done by Matthew Waite. I want to say that's how it's pronounced. But how cool is this cover? You get Deadpool as Mario and stomping on the head of a Koopa Troopa, which is actually Dr. Doom. So good. Alright guys, after that is Red Hood, The Hill, issue number 5 with the cover B variant done by Dan Mora. Dan Mora. Do I need to say more? And Red Hood. Red Hood is such a freaking cool character. But guys, Dan Mora doing Red Hood? So good. Alright guys, after that is Thundercats issue number 5 with the cover V variant, which is the 1:40 ratio variant done by Ivan Tao. Now there are cheaper versions of this. I like the 1:40 because it's a Virgin, and I think the Virgin looks the best, but there are trade dress versions that will be much cheaper than a ratio book. But guys, that cover is pretty freaking good. Alright guys, after that is Scarlet Witch issue number 1 with the variant cover in the 1/100 Virgin variant done by Jenny Frison. Scarlet Witch. So good. And after that is another Scarlet Witch cover. This is the Tran Nguyen cover. So good. So good. I like it because Scarlet Witch has, like, you know, reality altering powers, and like in this she's like, you know, moving planets around. So good. Alright guys, 2 more covers for Scarlet Witch issue number 1 that I really like. I like the 1:25 ratio variant done by Alexander Lozano. So freaking good. And I also like the exclusive variants from 616 Comics done by Ivan Talavera. There is a trade dress in a version. I like both a lot, and I think Scarlet Witch looks amazing. This might be the best rendition, even though I do like the Tran Nguyen a lot, and Jenny Frison, I don't know, pick your favorite. I like them all. After that is Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, issue number 1 with the cover C variant done by Francisco Matina, Elseworld Tale, Batman, mix it in a pot, stir it up. What do you get? You get this. This is so good. And the last cover is just something I found at the very end of my search going through all the books that are on this week's New Comic Book Day, and this one just stood out. I think it's really cool. This is DC Pride Uncovered issue number 1 with the cover G variant done by Mateus Mahini. These uncovered books are just like a book with all kinds of amazing covers in them, and this just looks really cool. I love it. I like that there's that whole negative space on the right hand side. You got Batwoman with her girlfriend in the question. So good. So good. Alright guys, those are all my cover letter picks for this week, which is June 12th of 2024. Let's go ahead and move over to the next section, which is my new number 1 that I think you guys have to be excited about. Quick pit stop before we get to that new number 1. I'm just going to ask you guys, have you guys smashed the like button just yet? If you haven't, do me a favor and smash that like button. And also, if you guys are not subscribed, get yourself subscribed. Awesome comic book content every single week for you guys. Alright guys, let's go ahead and check out that new number 1. With only one new number 1 on my pull list this week, it was really easy for me to figure out what book to talk to you guys about. Because like I said, there's only one. And that is Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, issue number 1. Now this is coming from the writer of Andy Diggle, artist by Leonardo Fernandez, colorist Dave Stewart, and letterer Simon Bowland. Now I did not read the first volume of Batman Gotham by Gaslight, so I'm diving right into this fresh. This is my first take of this world. But let me go ahead and read the synopsis for you guys. The sequel to the classic Batman Gotham by Gaslight. The new era of Elseworld Tales kicks off with the return of its crown jewel, the mysterious and gothic world originated by Brian Augustyn and Mike Mignola. When a mysterious meteor falls on the open wide plains of the Midwest, it unleashes a chain of events that find Gotham's bizarre Batman contending with not just the twin threats of Catwoman and a mysterious international assassin, but also the emergence of superhuman beings beyond all comprehension. This sequel series expands the 19th century DC universe beyond the confines of Gotham City, showcasing bold new visions of once familiar heroes. Do not miss it. I'm not gonna miss it because I freaking love Elseworld Tales. Now, I did not know who the writer of Andy Diggle was. I did a little research, and he wrote The Losers, which was a very popular independent title a little while ago. He wrote some other stuff that I noticed as well, but nothing as big as The Losers, in my opinion. Now, there are some pretty cool variant cards for this. The B cover is okay. It features Catwoman. There's that cover C by Francisco Matina. There is a D, which is a cover done by Jock, and it's a foil, but there's also 125, which is the same exact cover cover, but not a foil. I'm a little confused about those two right there. And then there's a 1 in 50, but it's just a version kind of the cover A, which why would you make that a 1 in 50? I don't know. Sometimes DC Comics and Marvel Comics make really weird decisions with their ratio books. They should have made the cover C the 1 in 25. That makes a lot more sense. And maybe the cover B as the 1 in 50 or vice versa. Switch them. Matina as the 1 in 50 and then the cover B as the 1 in 25. I don't know. What do you guys think? Guys, let me know down in the comments below. Alright guys, we can go ahead and move over to the next section. One of my top 3 books that I think you guys have to be picking up this week because they're going to be the best stories to read. Alright guys, the number 3 book. The number 3 of 28 total books. This means it's a really, really good freaking book and you guys have to be considering these top 3 books to pick up if you're not already. And the number 3 book is Blue Beetle issue number 10. Now this is coming from the writer of Josh Cirillo, artist Adrian Gutierrez, colorist Will Quintana, and letterer Lucas Gattoni. Guys, this book continues to impress with every single issue. You know, when you're considering a book like Blue Beetle, who is a minor character within the giant mythos of DC Comics, I'm sure a lot of people are very hesitant, but I'm telling you, don't be hesitant. Pick up this book. It is so freaking good. And I just want to start off by saying the artwork by Adrian Gutierrez is freaking amazing. It is so good. He is such an underrated artist in my opinion. I would love to see him on a bigger book, like a Batman book or Superman book or something like that, but his artwork is so freaking stunning and it makes every single issue just explode with emotion and characters and obviously characters, but the emotion he can put in the characters is so good. So good. But one of the big reasons why I love this book so much, and it's made the list time and time again throughout this 10-issue run so far, is family. Family is such a big part of my life. I'm a dad. I have 3 kids, or technically 4 kids. Sorry, Jimmy's out and he's 25 and he's out in Colorado, so he's not in my life every single day. But I have a family, and then my sister and brother and their kids, and my mom and dad, even though my mom passed. But family is a huge part of my life, and this book really focuses on the family element, but not Jaime's like immediate family, not his mom and dad and his sister, but his best friends who have become his family, the other Beetles who are like, you know, he depends on them and they depend on him, and the Reach are this alien race now stuck on Earth, and he's come close with them as well, and he wants to protect them. But then also it deals with the fact of family in the way your family does not always, like, you know, get along together. They don't always make the same decisions as you or that you want them to make. Sometimes they make bad decisions, and those bad decisions affect you in what you're doing. And that's what's happening in this book. One of the Beetles, one of the new Beetles, has decided to not want to be a Beetle anymore. And she went to Victoria Court to have this Beetle removed. And the Victoria Court, being the, like, I'd say, she rides that line of being a bad guy and good guy at the same time because she wants to do mostly the right things, but she always has the motivation that is like always making her seem like a villain. But at the end of this issue, there was a part with her and Ted, again, family coming together to try to do the right thing. But, you know, Victoria takes this Beetle and then, like, forces it to do things it's not supposed to do and creates this being called the Pinnacle, and which is a giant robot, and it just obviously everything goes wrong, and this robot is going to be a big part of issue number 10. But again, I love the family elements that have been sprinkled throughout this book since issue number 1 and continuing to build and build and build all the way through issue number 10, and these big moments give you the feels. And when you get the feels, it's so good. It's so good. Now, obviously, I talked a lot about family in that and not a ton about the book, but sometimes you really need to know that a book can hit home in here, and that's why it's really good, and that's why Blue Beetle is really good. Yes, the writing is fantastic, the dialogue is great, the pacing is amazing, the art is so freaking fantastic, his layouts, his action, everything is really good. But this book is good because of the family element, and that's why I love it. Alright guys, there is a variant cover for this book. It's okay. I wish they did more cool ones at the beginning of this run. There was a lot more variants, but I'm sure since we're getting later in the run, less stores are ordering this book, so they're cutting it down. I get that, but man, this book is so good. Just this cover A is fantastic. But guys, that is the number 3 book. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 2. After reading the second issue of this series, I can honestly say I teared up and I had a tear run down my cheek because it hit me right here so hard when I was reading this book, and that is a sign of an amazing writer. And guys, the number 2 book this week is Morning Star, issue number 3. Now this is coming from the writing duo of Tim Daniel and David Andre, has art by Marco Finnegan, colorist Jason Wordie, and letterer Justin Birch. This book hits so hard. Now, there is a strong reason behind that, and that is because my mom passed away. And this book is dealing with the fact that a husband has passed away and the family has gone into the woods because he was a firefighter, and they went into the woods because he was a forest fighter, and they want to spread his ashes there. And there's this moment between the mom and the daughter in this series, and they're talking about loss. And the daughter is talking about all the moments that the dad's going to miss, and it's not fair. Why did he have to leave? He's going to miss all these big moments: her graduation, getting married, grandkids. And you know, when you're reading this book and you've lost someone recently, and the way it was written that it was just so well paced with the conversation between the mom and daughter that it really hit hard. I can see moments in like that when the wording is not done as well, and the pacing and the artwork and how the panel was laid out. If it wasn't done as well, it wouldn't have hit as hard. But oh my God, with just losing my mom last year, it sunk in. I was like thinking the whole time, I'm like, oh my God, my mom missed my marriage to Stephanie. She's gonna miss my kids graduating. She's gonna miss their kids and them getting married, and all these moments in life that she's going to miss. And how, fuck cancer, man, fuck cancer. It's not fair, and it sucks. And when a book can do that, a comic book can make me feel that level of emotion, incredible. So good. Tim Daniel, David Andre, so good. It's so good. Now, the artwork by Marco Finnegan, again, it definitely helped with that story. But there's another element of this. So, sci-fi. This definitely has a sci-fi element. If you read issue number 1, you totally know what I'm talking about. In issue number 2, there wasn't a heavy-handed sci-fi element to the series. It was definitely just like crushing with emotion until the very end. There is a son in this. He likes to dream big, and he's in his head a lot, thinking about big things, and he's just gone. They slept overnight in like this really cool cabin that's like high up in the sky, like, you know, basically like a giant treehouse. And when they wake up, the daughter is making breakfast, and they have that conversation, and that's a good chunk of the book. And then they notice that the son is gone, and then they both separate and go their separate ways. And there's a nice sci-fi element at the end of this issue, which was really freaking good. Love this book. This book is a home freaking run. Morning Star, issue number 3. If you haven't read this book yet, find issues number 1 and 2. Get caught up. This is a home run, guys. Read this book. David Andre, Tim Daniel, Marco Finnegan, home freaking run. All right, guys, there are no variant covers for this because it's a small indie, but let's go ahead and move over to the next book, which is the number 1 book that I think you guys have to be reading this week because it's so freaking good. All right, guys, I've been excited to tell you guys about this book since I read it. I was gonna say all week because I read it like first. I think it was like one of the first books I read, and I was like, oh my God, that's the number 1 book. And I still had 27 more books to read, but it was still the best. And it is The Weatherman, issue number 6. I read issue number 5, I believe on Tuesday of last week. So good. Now this is coming from the writer of Jody LaHoppe and art by Nathan Fox, and this is the penultimate issue, issue number 6 of the series. Not this volume. Volume 3 is the final series because there's been volume 1 and volume 2, and issue number 6 is like the penultimate. So there's issue number 7 coming up, and that is going to be the finale, the big climax of this series. And in issue number 5, it was awesome. It was so good. It was filled with action from beginning to end, but also a lot of emotion. And what was really cool, so there was 3 good guys, right? I'm gonna do a terrible job. I don't want to like synopsize or give you synopsis for, you know, volume 1, volume 2, and like, you know, 5 issues of volume 3. I just want to tell you a little bit about this issue. So there's 3 good guys and 3 bad guys basically in this issue, and they basically went one-on-one in the issue. and it was awesome. Seeing them go at each other, and you've been riding along with these characters long enough that you know a little bit about them and you're rooting for them for one reason or another, and each battle was epic. It was so good. And the last one between Nathan, I forgot her name, but she's basically the love interest of Nathan, and Nathan has had his mind wiped twice now, basically. And their battle was freaking awesome because, like, you know, she took off all of her weapons and was like, you know, I don't want to hurt you. And then he was like, threw her off like a ledge, and she fell really far, and then he followed her down, and then she was like, all right, all gloves are off, now I want to hurt you. And they went at it. Oh, it was so good. Now, obviously, this is a giant sci-fi book. There's lots of crazy sci-fi things. The characters that were fighting each other were like, you know, they were not fully human. One was like mostly robot, and the other one had like half of his body replaced with robot parts, and he was supposed to be like one of the ultimate warriors. I don't know. It was so good. I don't know. I did a terrible job of like probably getting you hyped for this book, but just see the energy in my eyes, in my face. The storytelling is been great since issue number 1, building this story of this plague that's like a world destroyer, and this character of Nathan who was a part of the plague and a reason why it got released, and he hated himself for it, so he mind wiped himself and he became like this weatherman character, and that was a great part. And then he, like, you know, regained his original self, and that's a whole nother story in volume 3. And it's just, you know, loss and pain, and this element of the world is so, like, we've expanded to Mars and other planets, and this one guy is just bringing this plague everywhere and destroying all these civilizations. It's just so good. There's so much weight behind it, and the art by Nathan Fox is, forget about it. It's so good. So good. I don't know. I'm doing such a bad job. I'm not doing Jolie LaHop and Nathan Fox the justice that they deserve, but just know that volumes 1 and 2 were absolutely fantastic. Volume 3 is like probably the best so far because there's so much weight from volumes 1 and 2, and they're bringing it home, and it's hitting so hard, and it's hitting so good. I cannot wait to read these next 2 issues. You know what? I'm a little nervous for issue number 7 because wrapping up a story, it's so hard. Like, you can't make everyone happy, and I don't know if I want to be happy at the end of this. Maybe the plague should wipe everyone out. I don't know. But just know, this book is freaking fantastic. If you haven't read volume 1 and volumes 2, go find them, pick them up, pick up issues 1 through 7 of this one right here, and read them. You will thank me after reading them. Alright guys, that is the number 1 book. We have so many books to cover in the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. So strap in and let's do that right now. 24 books! 24 books we're going to cover in this section right here. So I'm going to try to keep my thoughts about them as short as possible, but also as informative as possible, so that way you guys can know if the book is worth picking up or not. First up, Ain't No Grave, issue number 2. It's so weird saying ain't because ain't is not a word, but book was good. It's a great start to a new series by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. Jorge Corona's artwork is absolutely fantastic, and Scotty Young is really good at telling a tale. And this one, definitely off to a good start. After that, The Avengers issue number 15, issue number 14 was a stinker. It really wasn't very good, and I'm not excited for issue number 15 at all. Cannot wait to get over this whole blood hunt stuff so that way they can get back to telling an Avengers story. After that, Batman and Robin issue number 10. I really like this series. I really do. And in the last couple issues, we've got Flatline as one of the main characters in it, and Flatline and Damian Wayne together is so adorable and amazing, and I love it. After that, Blood Hunt Red Band Edition, issue number 3. I'm reading the Red Band, which is a little bit different than the main big crossover event series. And yeah, this series is definitely formulaic. You can kind of see where it's going, but I don't know. I love vampires so much. I'm really enjoying this series so far. After that, Crocodile Black, issue number 2. This was a good book. This is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. This almost made the top 3 list. Definitely setting up a possible really good murder, serial killer type story, and I'm really excited to read more of this. After that, Deadpool issue number 3. Issues number 1 and 2 were okay so far. Cody Ziegler, do better. This should be an amazing freaking book, and so far it's only okay. It's kind of too funny. They're doing two funny things. I like Deadpool, who's he can quip, but also do really amazing things and also tell a really good story. And this one is like meh, so far. After that, the Deviant issue number 6. Issue number 5 was a super quick read. There was lots of pictures, which is not a bad thing because the story was really freaking creepy. And we get to see a little bit of the main character's younger self and what he was doing, and definitely made you question something about him. And really good setup, really good storytelling right there. After that, Dick Tracy issue number 2. Not bad, but not great. I was super excited to read this issue because I'm a big fan of Dick Tracy, at least from when I was a kid. I have some nostalgia there. But overall, not a bad start. I'm definitely not nowhere near dropping it. The artwork was good. The storytelling was there, but maybe a little bit too cheesy. But I don't know. We got to give it a few more issues before I really decide. After that is Gods issue number 8. I believe this is the final issue of this run, and it makes me super sad because this book is so freaking good. This is another one of the books that almost made the top 3 spot in the number 3 spot. It was definitely not dethroning the number 2 or number 1 book, but Gods is a fantastic Jonathan Hickman series. Just Jonathan Hickman means you read it, you give it a chance, and I did, and this book delivers. After that, Geiger issue number 3. This is a fun book. Simple, easy, fun. And I really like that now they've given Geiger like a sidekick. He definitely adds to the story. It's not as weighty. I mean, obviously it is, but it's good. And it adds a little humor to it, and I really, really like that about this book. I mean, come on, it's Jeff Johns. After that, Ghost Lore issue number 11, issue number 10 was so good. When you read so many books like I do, you kind of can lose the weight or the story pacing of a book. And this book right here hits on every single issue. I don't think there's been a really bad issue through 10 issues so far. Issue number 11 could be really good. And I really like this ghost story that Colin Bunn is telling. It's really fun. After that, Green Lantern issue number 12. Great series. Jeremy Adams. Love it. If you like Green Lantern, read this freaking book. I love how big it is and how affected the Green Lanterns are by this villain and what they're doing, and the emotional spectrum is all over the place. And the cliffhanger at the end of issue number 11 was incredible. All right, guys, after that is the Incredible Hulk issue number 13. I want to cut it. I really do. I want to chop, but it keeps throwing this one little hook out, and it's like, oh, please stay, please stay. And this book is okay. Nick Klein's art is freaking incredible. I love that. But PKJ, Philip Kennedy Johnson, his storytelling in this is only okay so far. And I wish it was better, but I'm still freaking reading it. All right, guys, after that is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 21. This is going to be a Blood Hunt tie-in, probably going to be a throwaway issue, but the series overall is freaking good. Good. Not great, but good. Read it. After that is Monolith issue number 2. This is a short issue miniseries featuring this character of Monolith. And just like all the other Spawn books that I've been reading, really enjoyed it. It was fun. And it's set off way into the future, like 3030. So, all kinds of crazy, wacky things are happening. Really freaking good. After that, Monsters Are My Business and the Business is Bloody, issue number 3. Issue number 1 was so good. Issue number 2 was wasn't terrible, but wasn't as good as issue number 1. So I'm hoping that issue number 3 is going to bring it back, and it's going to be another head-exploding amazing issue, because I really want this to be good. I really do. I love the artwork in this. All right, guys, next up is Napalm Lullaby issue number 4. The first 2 issues were kind of world building, really setting the pace, and then issue number 3 really started the storytelling. Rick Remender, freaking amazing. I forgot the art. No, Bengal. Bengal is the artist. So you get great art. And the ending of issue number 3 is really going to set off this series, I think. It was climactic. It was big. It's setting the stage for the 2 main characters. So good. So freaking good. All right, guys, next up is Outsiders, issue number 8. Issue number 7 was definitely a setup issue. They gave you the whole background of the drummer. It was really cool. Definitely has ties to the Authority and that whole world that was part of Wildstorm. So I'm really excited to see this part of Wildstorm come in and affect this series right here. But, it's been a solid series written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. You really should be checking this out. All right, guys, I got 8 more books to go over. Next up is Red Hood in the Hill, issue number 5. Issue number 4 was a lot better than the 3 previous and is definitely picking up its pace. So I'm really excited to see where the series is going to go. But we did get a lot more of Red Hood and Batman. And I think that's why I enjoyed issue number 3 a little bit more. All right, guys, next up is Sinister Sons issue number 5. And I gotta be honest, I'm not loving this series. Not like I did Super Sons. And I really hope this series starts to pick up pace. It's fun. It's kind of like Spider-Boy in the sense that it can be really cheesy at parts, but also be really fun at parts. So I'm really hoping this starts to pick up. Sinestro's in the next issue, and he's going to have the meeting with his son, which I hope is going to be really good. All right, guys, after that is Something Epic, issue number 11. This series is so good. I'm really enjoying it. It is definitely a meaty read. There's lots of storytelling in every single issue, but I really like the second story arc that's focusing on this second epic, and she's this girl that she doesn't have the same powers as the first character that was introduced. She's a little bit different, and she's more of a detective, and she's finding out what's going on in this world, which is not right. It's really cool. Really cool. And Simon Kredinsky's artwork is so good. He's also doing the writing as well. After that is Spider-Boy, issue number 8. Issue number 7 was the end of the first story arc. And I gotta tell you, I'm pretty happy that it was the end. I didn't love how it ended. And again, this book is super cheesy. Definitely written for a younger audience, but it can be really fun at times and really heartwarming, and that's why I'm still reading it. All right, guys, after that is Thundercats, issue number 5. Issue number 4 was the end of the first story arc, and I liked it. I really did. The story is definitely building. I think the storytelling is getting a little bit better, but the artwork is still pretty bad. Yeah, I hate the artwork. I don't dislike it so much because it's Thundercats. Thundercats should have an amazing artist on it. But the storytelling is getting a little bit better. It's sinking its teeth into me a little bit deeper, and my enjoyment is growing with each issue. All right, guys, after that is Transformers, issue number 9. Fantastic book. Another book that almost made the top 3 list. There's a couple parts in the last story that I didn't love, and I think that's why it didn't make the top 3 list. But this story, it's Transformers, man. Transformers told in such a new and engaging way. You gotta be reading this book. Daniel Warren Johnson did the first 6 issues as writer and artist, and now Jorge Corona is doing the art with Daniel Warren Johnson still doing the writing, and it is so good. All right, guys, the final book is Ultimate X-Men issue number 4. I read issue number 3 a couple days ago. Didn't love it. Didn't love it. This is the one Ultimate title that I'm not loving. I'm going to give it 6 issues, so I'm going to give it 3 more to really hopefully blossom into something that I'm loving, but I personally am not loving it. So issues number 4, 5, and 6. And then if it's not a book that I'm really enjoying, I have to cut it. I cannot have 29 issue pull lists in the future. I need to help my wallet so that way I can afford the 1 in 100 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 2, that Dyke Ruan cover. I need to find a way to make my budget to allocate some money for that cover. I need it. I have to have it. It's a must-have. So whittling down some pull lists between now and then probably is going to be the best way to do it. So you're on the almost chopping block, Ultimate X-Men. But guys, that is the not top 3, but the books you got to see. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Alright guys, that was probably a doozy of a video, and if you guys stuck around from the beginning all the way to the end, I just gonna say you guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Now, if you guys watched that video and you guys enjoy comic book content, but you did not get yourself subscribed yet, I just gotta say, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notifications, and smash that like button. Now, 2 things before we sign off on today's video. 1, I have the giveaways for the last 4 winners packed up and ready to go. So I'm going to go 2 more weeks, this week, next week, and possibly the following week without giveaways. And I'll probably start giveaways up again in July. But if you want stuff, it's coming. It's going to go in the mail today. I'm going to walk over to the post office at lunch and get those in the mail to you guys. So expect those in the next, probably by Friday at the latest. And the next thing, I do have a new video series starting probably in a few weeks time. I got to do some recording. This is going to be more of a once a month while I record throughout the whole entire month of things that I'm doing, edit it all together into one video that I post once a month. But I hope it's going to be a very interesting series. I told Stephanie about it and she said, Bruce, that could be really good for you. And I'm like, I think so too. So I'm really excited about that. But I also have this other idea. What would you guys think if I did a live stream once a month or maybe once a week in the mornings? So that is my only time that I have available to myself to record videos and do YouTube stuff. So I was thinking of maybe doing a live stream maybe once a week, once every other week, or maybe once a month. And we just jump on and I talk comics. I don't know what I would do if I did a weekly one. If I did a monthly one, I'd probably bring you guys along where I go through my comic book shop previews and like select all the books that I'm going to be selecting, telling you guys why I'm selecting them, and maybe do something like that. I'm not sure. But someone in the Discord was talking about a live stream. It made me remember that I enjoy doing live streams. I like interacting with you guys, but my only time slot is 8:30 in the morning. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in and could actually tune into, guys, let me know down in the comments below. But guys, that's it for today. Hope you guys have a great new comic book day in a few days, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.